but we're just gonna go to 1 floor, 3 bedroom, 2 baths, simple.
I need to do that.
If our cells, yeah, but yeah, if our cells okay, then we are, I should say, but
I think all of my friends have done that except us.
I know. My husband's like, we're gonna make sure we can get a wheelchair in the bath and in the shower, and I'm like, okay, like, we're still in our 40s. I mean, anything could happen,
Yeah.
but my
Yeah.
my dad's actually in a wheelchair. He got paralyzed from an accident at work a couple years ago. And so he's like, see, now your dad can come over and he can get around. Because right now you have to go up steps just to get in my door, you know. So we have
That's
to
why, you know,
carry him and then
Yeah.
put him in one.
yeah. When we remodeled, we changed our, 30-inch door to a 36-inch
Yeah.
door, and
Yeah. Well, we put our laundry on the main floor, but now our bedroom's in the basement. So it
Yeah.
really didn't work out for us very well. But
Yeah, one of them didn't. Well, they built a 2-story, but they put an elevator.
oh, there you go. If you can afford to do that.
Yeah,
but-
me either, but.
but it's
Yeah.
still 2 steps up to get into the
Yeah.
kitchen,
Yeah.
from the garage.
Right.
So,
I'm keeping all my stairs to get into my house, so my mother-in-law can live there again.
there you go.
I might have joked to my mom via text message. I said, well, I mean, it's either try to sell the house and do this, or I'll just move in with you. And she's like, no, I'm sorry, we're not in Davis County.
So what are you gonna, you haven't built it yet, right? Are you just gonna put it contingent on, when yours is done? You got. Temporary.
Well, I currently have a camper set,
Oh,
just
okay.
in case,
Just in
but,
case.
we're having Miles Construction build it, and he says, I'll have you in there within a month, maybe 2 at the most, but we're gonna live in the shop while we build the house though.
Okay.
Cause the shop will have a bathroom and a kitchen,
Okay.
so,
You got backed up.
yeah, yeah. As long as I'm not waiting on my husband to build it, we'll be fine.
Oh,
House, thanks.
good. Warm.
Yeah.
Howdy.
It's probably that
This
old.
morning was nice and then.
Yes,
it was, once the sun came out.
Did you?
10:30, it's
Yeah. Well, it was foggy out at 4 o'clock this morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, nobody had any late packages today. We had a little,
All that.
had a little turf war accident. FedEx versus UPS. truck.
Oh, no kidding.
I showed up and I just started laughing. I said, I'm sorry, but I said, first of all, is everybody okay? And they're like, yeah, it's like, this could be better.
Oh, we don't care about
I just started taking pictures.
Yeah, we don't care about the driver, but the packages.
FedEx, UPS.
That's why I didn't get mine today.
You didn't get a good video to make $10,000.
No, I didn't. No. It's the FedEx guy's fault. The UPS guy's pretty worried. He's like, I'm probably gonna get in trouble. Supposedly they have to
They do.
make sure the intersection's like clear before they
They do.
go through.
Oh,
They
the
haven't
FedEx
had an
guy's probably gonna get in trouble.
UPS,
Oh,
FedEx guy's probably the can. He got the ticket.
yeah, he's the
Oh,
one. that-
the UPS is supposed to slow down at every intersection.
Yeah. Yeah, he was like, I'm afraid I'm getting in trouble. And I was like, oh, are you serious?
Yeah, even when it's not your.
I was like, oh, okay.
Hope it wasn't steel. Or
No,
No. I drove around the block and ran into the postal service. I was like, hey, you missed it.
You missed this. We could have a three-way.
They do over there. Which we do have a lot of accidents there. Right there. on
it's
Walnut,
kind of hard to
West
see,
Street,
honestly.
Kind of right over
Did you
there.
come up over the hill? I come that way every morning to go to work
Hmm.
and these people are pulling out, so they don't see anybody, and then we pop over the hill there.
Crap tonight.
I just want to make sure my truck's quick enough.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
They're doing something.
I know there was a ball game and I was like, oh yeah. it counts.
You didn't go to the
There's a baseball game.
fire there too.
Yeah, so Josh will be on the phone.
We went to the first 2 or 3 wrecks that happened in Church Street. That was fun, Saturday night. Sunday we didn't go.
12-year-old all-star
Now Wyatt.
Howdy.
I saw that.
softball team doing well.
Yeah. Yeah, there's one.
They beat Fairfield the other night, 29-3.
You better sit down or something.
It's 9 to 10 girls, fairly good, at least,
Yeah,
maybe not win, but compete.
well, they went over to Fairfield 30 weeks ago and got beat over.
Oh, really?
Yep. Yeah, Josh Berry.
But as somebody told me too.
I know, I was gonna say,
said,
you're gonna get recruited
"We're
here
playing
pretty
the
soon."
umpire.
Oh, what is it?
Yeah, they have figured out the tire thing.
He said they were definitely not told the same.
All righty. Let's call her to order. I'd like to welcome all the 2,000 people. First thing, guys, a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of
the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Third agenda.
Move to approve.
We're gonna change something.
Okay, all right.
We're gonna, item A, the airport that was taken care of last meeting.
Oh, A, we don't need.
6A, we don't need.
6A, we're scrapping.
Correct. And 6E, we're changing it from setting a public hearing to discuss
Parking, it says on this.
parking. So I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the update.
Okay,
Move to approve with said changes.
Second.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Josh?
Oh, he's not here yet.
Dave?
Yes.
Don?
Yes,
Or,
yes.
approve appointment of, no, it's in it, no.
Whoa, where? Passport.
I really don't have
tonight.
I don't have anything that I'm trying to get to right now, trust me.
Passport.
Let's go with Zach. Let's try that one first.
We're gonna got the Harry Nation Days on the square, so we're getting all geared up for that on Saturday. Got the race in the morning and then the big deal at night, the concert. Historically, knock on wood, it's always went really well, so hopefully we continue that streak. We got the 4th of July parade coming up before the next meeting too, so a couple bigger events that'll be going on, so that's about all we got.
Right, thank you. Jeff?
On the fire side, nothing really major there, other than the fact the guys will be up on Harry Nation days in the morning doing some stuff with the kids, letting them play with some of the gear, try it on, stuff like that. We're working on trying to get stuff ready for the 4th of July fireworks. On the code enforcement side, been a busy week sending out tickets and warnings. Biggest hitters have been grass, brush, no pool permits, and no house numbers. So I give everybody get a chance to get their house numbers up.
Good.
I have nothing.
All right, thank you. Anybody for the Nutri Center? Okay. Obviously, the Main Street. We know what Main Street's doing this weekend. Okay, John on for DCDC. Consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Jake?
Yes.
Earl?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
Jennifer?
yes.
Now we'll approve the appointment of Tracy Miller to the Historic Preservation Commission, filling a vacant seat through March of 2026.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Earl?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
Set
In relation.
Nope. Is that the one that owns the coffee can? Okay, I thought so. Set public hearing for vacation. Yeah, that's right. Vacation at Hickory Hills Road.
Okay, we would like to, well, we were gonna discuss with Gayla, but, we would like to set that public hearing for July, 26th, the second one in July. So
25th.
25th. Because, as I was setting up to get this public hearing going, in our ordinance, it says that we have to send it to, planning and zoning first. So that'll take time with the holiday. So if you'd ever like to make the motion due July 25th, please.
I'll make a motion, we set that public hearing for the vacation of Hickory Hills Road for July 25th.
Second.
Jake,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Earl,
Yes.
Josh is on now.
Josh, are you on?
Can't hear you, Josh, if you're speaking. Give us a sign language.
Phone number ends in 2526.
Yeah, he's on mute.
Mute on our side or his side?
I'm not able to unmute him.
If you can hear us, Josh, you're on mute, I guess. Okay, we're moving on.
Okay.
Did we go through everybody there?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're good.
Set a public hearing for changing zoning ordinance for parcel 01001511.
We'd like to set this one for July 11th, which is our next meeting. We just have to have Gayla tweak a couple things on the ordinance, otherwise it's ready to go.
I'll make a motion, we set that public hearing on July 11th.
Second.
Don,
Yes.
Josh? Earl,
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Jake?
Discuss parking. Parking, we discussed.
Well, Kayla was gonna be here tonight to discuss those changes that we wanted to do last time.
Oh, this
with
is in the yard and stuff. Okay.
Planning to implement, so.
We're gonna table it. We're gonna table it.
Yeah,
Gary's not here.
Because I had a question, but maybe you can deal with your matter, like, because like I was looking where it talked about, it's number 3 under there, and it's like such areas part of a required driveway, but then it goes on to say, or off-street parking area allowed by zoning ordinance. So what exactly is the off-street parking that's allowed? I mean, what does that consider? It's like, the house that I used to live in at my grandmother's, my uncle still lives there. And he parks next to the garage.
Okay.
And it had gravel maybe at one time, but now it's grassy. But it's side yard, it looks like grass, so I don't know if that's considered off parking because they've parked there for 30 years or. Sure. I don't, how do we determine that?
I can make a note and ask her. I had talked to her over the phone this week and discussed the other things that we talked about and then asked if she had a suggestion as far as a fine as well. So I can just let her know that we have more questions. And ask kind of what that definition of off-street parking.
I have a question for Jeff regarding this. Are you finished yet?
Yeah.
Do you have a suggestion on fines, Jeff? Because I see in our sample here, each day that they're in violation is considered a separate fine, so I don't see the need that we need to increase the amount of the fine. If they're gonna, if it's gonna be, for example, $50 a day for 3 days, that's $150. Do you have a suggestion on what that fine should be since it's a repetitive amount?
I haven't even read the new ordinance.
All right, that's fair.
I have a parking ticket on the street, it's 13.
It's how much?
13.
$13? Doesn't have to change people's behavior.
Well, I'm just saying, that's set by the state too, the 13.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's what we use for our city parking tickets, is $13.
Yeah, well, I guess it's repetitive of the day.
I'm not saying it has to be the
That's
same,
what it is.
that's just a
Right,
reference point.
Okay, thanks for pointing that out. I had no idea.
I have a question on fines, not necessarily for this, Jeff, but what do we do with people that don't pay the fine? I mean, see, I think the council really needs to understand, you can fine the heck out of them, but what if some guy gives you the middle finger? What are we doing with this fine? I mean, it's kind of like when we had this discussion years ago, remember how the fire department was going to charge for, what if they just throw it away? I mean, what happens to those bills, like the fire department? do you put it on their taxes or do we, or do
We
we?
can't,
Or
yeah.
does that go to
So,
offset those things
both.
too? Okay.
so if they
Alright.
own their own property, then we
Uh-huh.
can also assess it with their property taxes, take them up to the courthouse,
Mhm.
which Alicia does do that and
Okay.
is pretty religious. If they don't, and let's say they're one of your renters, then they can't put it on the property. But, if there's certain fines, we can send them to Iowa.
Okay, I just didn't know how we were gonna collect this. Seems like we have some things. in
But
place,
there
so.
is a lot of, you know, you give them a fine, you wait, then you give them a second fine, then you wait before we actually can try to
Yeah.
recoup some money. Might take a year, you
Yeah.
know,
Okay.
yeah.
So what are you thinking on the vehicles? Are you thinking by day? Cause let's say
That's
you
what's
hit
in the
six, you
ordinance.
hit 6, 7 properties, and then you got 14 or 15 vehicles. You're gonna have to hit those 6 or 7 properties every day. Where you're gonna make it, give them a ticket, allow them 2 or 3, 5 business days to get a correction made.
Or you could write
Again.
like a fine that says if not handled within
Yeah, in your ticket,
30
you say,
days or whatever, you
Yeah.
know?
give them 7 days to get it moved. Otherwise, you're gonna get another ticket in 7 days. You know,
Okay.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I would say that we need to give them some time to correct the issue for you every day. Sequential,
okay,
that's kind of being heavy-handed.
that's your all day, every day.
Yeah.
Right.
It's also gonna double, triple.
Well, or if they're in
He gives out 5 of them, he'd have to check 5 properties every day, wouldn't you?
Also sounds like we
Don't do it daily. Don't do that.
Yeah.
This is
Then you gotta sit down and write.
Yes, you can't come every day and.
Is that the spirit of the law?
I think there's, there's some wording in that.
I just wanna be fair and give
Yeah.
everybody a chance
Yeah.
to help themselves.
We wanna
Some
give them a
people-
chance
And
to
your,
move them.
your ticket could say that on there, you know, you're getting a ticket
Absolutely.
for this ordinance, you have, you know,
A lot of the pools, I
72
gave
hours
out
to
this
correct.
week were a warning, because I bet people don't know they need to go get a pool permit.
yeah.
So, just take the time, go get it.
Yep.
Be good.
I'd rather educate people and cite the ones who don't want to be educated. I mean, wait for them.
Okay, we'll have more on that one. Sounds like approved recommended employee handbook changes.
Okay, in your packet and an email I sent out, about a week or maybe last week. Every year, in case you all don't remember or whatnot, we do go through the handbook and see, is there anything that happened this year, anything that we need to change? So in this handout is my recommendation of changes that I sent to Gayla and then for you guys to review, talk through, change if you would like, but these are my recommendations. And I'll just kind of go through those. Section 14, currently it states that the police, we want to revise it to say that they're working 80 hours in a 2-week period because we changed their work week and now they're not getting overtime until after the 80. So we want the handbook to match. I'm going to come back to section 19 because that's the hottest topic. Section 22 is to add that we offer vision insurance. We have been offering vision insurance, but it wasn't listed in there. And then under the group and health dental insurance for single coverage, we pay 95% of the single coverage and 100 for dental. So we want to correct that. Section 25 of the handbook, this is in regards to vacation. It used to state you get 80 hours versus the number of days. And with having police that work 10-hour days and 8-hour days in different shifts, depending on their 80 hours, and then most of us are 8-hour days, we're going to change that to getting, 10 days versus 80 hours of vacation. Section 28, we just combined pretty much the child and stepchild, the parents and step-parents, and then all of the in-laws together. Because before you used to get, 3 days for a mother-in-law and a brother-in-law, or father-in-law, mother-in-law, and 2 days for brother-in-law and sister-in-law. We just combined them all the same. After kind of talking through it with the staff, we feel like they're pretty equal. And then we added in the vacation time that just states, obviously, we had approved this prior, so we're adding that in. So then the last thing is just, section 19 is the uniforms. Last year, if you recall, I had asked council to switch from a pair of boots up to $160, 3 pair of jeans and 5 shirts to a dollar amount. because some people were going way over and beyond in what they were buying and buying the most expensive things. And then, so we tried it out. We didn't really know what dollar amount we needed. I had came to council last year and asked to give them $12.50 for FR, fire resistant clothing, $7.50 for non-FR. And then I'm deleting the mechanic because the mechanic used to get actual uniforms laundered and we don't have that anymore. So we track each year what people get and how much they spend. And after I sat down with Alicia and looked at that report this year, at May 1st, we had like 18 people that hadn't even started or barely started spending their money at May 1st. So I was sending emails like, you know, hey, you're going to get uniforms this year. You need to get them by June 1st. So now at the middle of June, we have only 6 out of the 29 employees that actually spent the money that we gave them. And so after looking at the past couple years to see how many shirts do they have, how many pair of jeans they have, etc., I'm recommending to cut it this year, FR to $750 and non-FR to $500. You know, I kind of went through it and said, okay, like for example, one employee got boots, 3 pair of pants, 5 shirts and a coat, still didn't use their money. Some people got 10 different pair of jeans, depending on if they got Ariat or Cinch or name brand versus maybe something that's a little bit cheaper. So since only 6 out of the 29 even spent all of their money, I want to cut that this year and kind of track it again and see, do these numbers work? Because obviously I do think we gave them a little bit more than what we needed to because they didn't spend it all. But on the flip side, there is a caveat in there that if someone ruins something, they have a hole, they're able to come in and bring it to us, rest of your eye, to say, hey, I ruined this shirt on the job. Here's what happened. I'm already over my limit. Can I get another one to replace it? There were some questions about new staff. If they come on, maybe they don't have enough. But after we kind of went through and looked up FR Closeout and some of the other ones, I think that these numbers are fine, especially if something should happen where they need it replaced. I do have some cushion in those lines in the budget so that if something should happen, obviously they can bring it in and say, my jeans are ruined and I need a different pair of FR jeans, for example. So we still won't go over budget, but there is a little bit of leeway. And then we would look at this again in June to say, okay, how did the uniforms go this year? Do they need increased a little bit, or, you know, what's it look like? So those are my suggestions this year for the handbooks.
I'll make a motion to change the employee handbook according to the revisions stated.
I'll second that.
I have a question. Have the employees had a chance to look at these potential revisions?
Yeah, I did have 2 people come to me because I sent them out and I told them if you have questions, suggestions, etc., bring them to me. I did have a couple come to me. One of them was concerned that they didn't have enough yet in their bank, but they didn't spend all their money either. So we talked through that. And then the other thing, I also told them the same thing. If there's something that they need, you know, for their job, then to let us know. And then the other person that had came to me and just had a question, it was more about if they, you know, got a hole in their shirt, could they get it replaced, etc. So we did talk through it. There was a little bit of concern on the FR side, just because that stuff is usually a little more expensive. But we have some people who wear FR that literally got 20 shirts this year because they went to websites that, you know, it wasn't as expensive as some of your other name brands. So I think it'll be okay.
We pass this, when will it show up in the handbook? Do we reprint those once a year, or how do we handle
Yep,
that?
so we do it every July. Usually I'll send stuff over in June, so it would take effect July 1st. And then next June or May, I would come to you with, yes, this worked, or no, it didn't. And if there's any other suggestions from the employees.
Thanks.
Don,
Yes.
Jake,
Yes.
Earl,
Yes.
Josh,
He's
Jennifer.
Approve invoice 14685 and 14684 totaling $11,160 day heating and air for city shop offices.
So that's invoice for, down to Columbia Shop and Dave's office, the old Parks office and the restroom and Todd's office, that the heating units in his office. They are very old. Their dues not working.
Budget was okay.
We're good.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Jake,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Earl,
Yes.
Authorize legal counsel to place a lien on a property.
I did not get any communication back from the letter I sent related to the facade easement, but I need authority to move forward with putting the lien on that property.
But you're also, I think, Tommy Joe said you also would probably recommend that we file a lawsuit too, right?
Yeah. We
Okay,
may have-
not just, don't just do the lien.
Yeah.
You would
I
do
think-
a separate lawsuit, basically.
Yeah, give me the authority to do whatever steps I need to do to place a lien on the property.
I would ask the council when you go to make this, give her the authority to give us harmony.
Motion to, give permission to Gala to do whatever is needed to, I guess, reclaim the money that owed to the city.
I'll second it.
Josh, oh, sorry, Jennifer,
Yes.
Earl,
Yes.
Jake,
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
Approve payment to Davis County in the amount of $53,000 for the fiscal year 25 Law Center lease.
So good news is we are a little under budget at the moment, so I would like to pay next year's rent for the Law Center early. Instead of waiting until July.
Move to approve.
Second.
Don,
Yes.
Jake,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Earl,
Yes.
You gotta deliver that. All right. Public comment, just making sure you're awake out here. No public comments tonight, okay.
You do, I.
Oh, what, did I skip another?
Jay.
Where's
Jay, I'm
Jay?
sorry.
I don't have Jay on mine. I'm not.
you may not.
Okay,
We do.
so I'm not drawing for, you know,
I'm vouching for you because
let me read Jay here real quick.
You just laughed.
Hey,
We might have done your package.
We did.
My counsel. She's approved it. Okay, let's get them paid. Approved pay estimate number 6 in the amount of $15,321.56 to Leffler Dirt Works for the South Sidewalk project.
So this is the retainage and should be the final payment by my calculations.
Make a motion, we approve that item.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Earl,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Jake,
Yes.
Public comments again?
going well.
Nobody? Okay. Tommy Joe?
The only thing I have tonight is I had a, boy, and I want to say he might be early high school age, give me a call, a citizen asking if the council would mind or grant him permission to paint the address, house numbers on the curb for elderly people who wish to have it done. I personally didn't see anything in the ordinance, but he wants to go, him and another person with stencils. I asked about making sure, you know, it was gonna look nice. He said he has the stencils and he has the correct paint for it, and he would like to ask people in the town, similar to like the Mustang and the Horseshoe and the DC and stuff that was painted, but he wants to do a little community service and would like the council's permission, or is there any issue?
Does he charge it?
No,
Does he remain anonymous or do we need to?
he didn't say to. His name was Clayton Ware.
As 4-H project or just doing it?
He just said, am I allowed to do this?
You live on
And
West Street?
I have no idea.
There's one 503 West Street. I saw the new paint job.
Yeah.
Sure, but.
He just called and asked if, this was something council needed to approve, and he's trying to do some community
How
service.
old is he? Cross lunch.
I wanna say
Like
like
13.
eight.
Probably,
Is he
Right,
eight?
13.
probably close to.
Seven,
He's
right?
probably going in, yeah, he's about 13, 'cause he played Little League last year.
Did he, I was thinking seventh, eighth grade, somewhere in there.
The thing that pops into my mind relates to some difficulties that Jeff may face, and it is not knowing the house number of, it's on the house. So if there's no house number on the house, this young man needs to be absolutely certain that the house number he puts on the curb is correct. You know, they don't want 404 on the house and 408 on the curb.
Sure. And
Because
I,
if these guys have to go there for an emergency, but when they go.
Does this get them off the hook if it's on the curb versus the house?
No, it says on the
No,
house.
no,
That's the-
No, it doesn't in my.
Thought we were killing two birds.
no, but I did tell him that I will call him back tomorrow and let him know yes or no, and if there were any stipulations. So if you choose to let him do it.
I
and-
think you should,
The house
I think
number
you
is
should
on.
give him one to do first and then have Jeff or Zach or somebody go by and make sure it looks nice. It's,
And I'd be careful
Centered
about
in-
ones like along the highway and the busy streets.
yeah, I mean, what happens if this guy gets hurt? I don't know.
So you can get run over. That'd be my concern.
Sounds like a good idea, but yeah,
Yeah,
I think that would be my.
it's floated
Totally
before,
up to
hasn't
you
it,
guys.
Jeff? That idea's floated around before, I think.
it's a nice idea and I commend the young lad for wanting to do it.
You know
But
what
I'm
would be
like
better?
Zach, there's a lot of people don't pay attention.
You know, Jeff, how about making it better? Let them buy the house numbers and he puts the house numbers on their house. Seriously. Need to be.
Damn on the house.
But you're right, they need to make sure that they use the right, if he's gonna do it on the curb, the numbers on the curb match that.
Probably gonna have to write
You
around.
said
it.
I'm sorry, I have special paint. Ideally, you'd have paint that was pretty nice, but you're.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said that I'm assuming maybe he has a little help, maybe from parents or something, but he said that they checked, they were gonna get the paint that was needed, but, you know, he just wanted to do something for the elderly.
If that's something you wanna do, if it's, we can take him around and make sure he doesn't get run over. If that's what you pay. If that's not that.
I think you should let him approve the first one
Mm-hmm.
and then.
We'll give him some orange cones.
And it might be good to ride around with Zach or the other
Yeah.
guys for just a little bit, you know, he has some buddies with him.
Yep.
Might be a good word.
Yep.
I don't know it personally.
I don't either.
Do they need a moat or no? This is,
No, this.
you
I
can
mean,
just
if you
verbally.
don't want him to do it, then let me know and I'll call,
Just-
I
I
gotta
think
call
you
him
should-
either way tomorrow.
I think you should tell them they said, okay, but they'd like you to do one. Let us approve the first one,
Make sure it
you know,
looks
kind of
nice.
arrange it with the police said that they would go and
So he's safe.
be safe. Okay,
Wait.
all right.
That's-
Is that it, Tommy Joe?
Yes.
Rusty?
Okay, so if you remember last meeting, we had a gentleman, ask about the parking in front of the VFW and over at Vogel. So you've got, I think you've got a picture there.
Yeah.
So we can explain. So coming off the highway in front of Vogel, we've got there, but we can't park anyway due to the state highway laws. And that puts you right at Vogel's fence that he installed. So according to the ordinance that we have in place, we're only allowed to have the angle parking over to the west edge of the VFW property line anyway. And we currently have, you can see those two lines that are there in front of Don Horn's property. Those are not legit. Those are supposed to be gone. They're not in the ordinance. So, at one time, they tried to power wash them away. I think that was the parking spots that gentleman was asking about to get put back. But they're not, so we actually would have to change the ordinance if we want to put those parking spots back. The VFW currently uses the space between them and Horns as an alley. It's not a proposed alley. It's not really on Beacon as such. So we could paint white lines clear through the alley if they choose to use the alley that way. That's up to you guys. That's your call. But anyway, that's where we're at legal wise.
So are you?
We're only supposed to have white lines to the west edge of the VFW property. It's the only place our ordinance allows us. to
And
put the
we
white lines.
do, I mean, I see,
They
I
stop-
see dog park there every day.
They currently stop at that
Yeah.
green, at that little piece of grass. You can see where the green grass in front of the
Oh.
VFW is. That's the last spot that's there. And then they use the next two. It's open for their alley.
Okay.
So we're actually supposed to get rid of the ones in front of Don Horns because they're not in the ordinance. So if we want to put those back, then we have to change the ordinance.
Why did we get rid of those the last time? Because they weren't in the ordinance.
They were not in the ordinance. We found out they were not supposed to be
The
there.
people park there anyway.
They do, they still
They
park
do.
there.
You don't,
They park all the way up.
up for parking for any.
Even when, honestly, even when we painted all the new yellow lines in front of your place and in front of Neve's and over on that side, they still fill the whole square.
Well,
But
why don't we park there in front of Don Horn's building?
they do,
That's-
they do.
That's what
Why
we're
don't we make
saying,
it
is
legitimate?
should we change
Well,
the ordinance?
It's up to you guys. We could, but we just gotta go through a complete ordinance change to do that for 2 spots.
Yeah.
For 2
Well,
parking spots, because right next to Don's is where Mr. Bogle put a fence for that back lot, and he parks his trailers in there, so,
But it looks to me like there's room for about 3 there in front of Don Horn's.
well, given that there's actually, because right there at the very west edge of Don Horns, that's where Bogle's property starts, and he has a fence right there, and he.
Yeah,
Well, but I mean, east of the fence, there's nothing to keep you from going in there and almost making that an alley. Somebody's got something parked in there.
Well, that's
all
a
fenced
fence
in, you just can't see the fence now, it's all fenced into the street, over to the street with Bogle's
But
realty now.
it's not fenced all the way to Horn's building, is it?
Yes.
Yes,
yes,
it is.
it
Yeah.
is, it is, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
Mr.
that
Bogle
answers
bought
that
that, he
then.
fenced it all in, and, because it was a wreck back there, he cleaned it all up, fenced it, and parks his trailers back in there now.
Looks like he's got his trailer and his boat in there.
So the question is, do we want to move forward with changing the ordinance to add a couple spots in front of Don Horns? Or do we want to go and keep the ordinance the way it is and remove the parking spot?
I believe we can gain a spot there in front of the VFW if we repaint everything from that grass all the way to the east edge, which is not in the picture, but.
Yeah, but VFW does their fish fry on Fridays and Saturdays, and they're
Correct.
probably using that drive as a pickup.
No, I'm not saying put them in front of the alley, just right there
Okay.
at the grass, start right there
Yeah.
with your angle and go to the east would be.
I don't know, is it worth it for 3 parking places?
The people are already parking there
Yeah, that's
anyway.
right.
They're gonna park
I
there
wanna,
anyway.
I wanna,
There's no parking
look, you're gonna have,
lines, but they still park there.
you're gonna have to enforce no parking, or you're gonna have to change the ordinance and put it so they can park. I'm for changing the ordinance so they can park there legitimate.
And that's totally fine, but I mean, they park in front of Bogle's all the way, that's illegal. You know, once you get to the edge of the fence,
Well,
that's.
now that I wouldn't go that far. If they're not supposed to be parking there on Boulder's
I'm
property.
just saying, we have to
park.
enforce that part now anyway, you
Yeah.
know, if we're gonna enforce it because they're parking there.
DOT.
So what's the next step?
The reason we,
Make a motion to whatever you want to do. If you want to change the ordinance or move forward with changing the ordinance, or make a motion to remove the parking spots in front of Don Horn to match the ordinance we have.
You mentioned possibly a third spot down there. Rusty, or did I misunderstand you? On the west edge of
if
the,
you change the ordinance, we could essentially put 2 spots in front of Don Horn's building.
what about anything in front of the Legion building? Is that clearly marked and okay right
It
now?
needs to be remarked, but there's markings all the way from the VFW, from that grass to the east.
Well, the VFW uses that alley. That's not actually an alley.
I'm not talking about the alley,
Yeah.
right there at the green, you would
So
start
the
right
west
there.
edge of the green is where the first parking line might be.
Yes, correct. We could repaint that. We can repaint those lines and that'd be legit, you know, just leave the alley open for them if they want to.
Well, if we're gonna have no parking, we're gonna have no parking. If we're gonna have parking, we're gonna have parking, in my opinion. Anybody else have any feelings on it?
You drink coffee with Don?
No,
On the way, maybe go talk to him and tell him you're not gonna let him.
that'll go over well.
Or make a motion to gain 2 spots. It's really that simple. Leave as is and tell Zach to write a ticket to Don, or we go through a month and a half to gain 2 spots.
I'll make a motion to change it.
There we go.
I'll second it.
Make it more, make a motion.
Change it how? To add or
To add those, make those 2 spots legal.
He seconded.
I'm
For the DPW suggestion.
Okay, Don,
Yeah.
Earl,
Yes.
Jake,
Yes.
Jennifer.
Okay. North/west sidewalk project update.
Yep, so we got a meeting on Monday. We had a pre-construction meeting here in the library and, kind of got a start date, roughly July 22nd, I think is our target date. And so
What, July what?
July 22 is our target date, given weather.
Thank you.
I believe
When's
the
the
first,
fair? Jeff, when's the fair?
that's the, right at the end of
It'll be after the fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, right after the fair.
Good.
And then, so early in July, they'll pick a date. We're gonna set up a meeting. Tammy's gonna set up a meeting with, all business owners and let them know kind of where we're at with it. And, get them on board. We'll go west side first and they'll finish that, go to the end and then start on the north. And, that's kind of where we're at. Let it hold out and get it done there.
But they're, I think Tommy Joe told me they plan to bring their team in and, I mean, get this done, right? I mean, I'm sure the contract allows ample time, but they want to get in and get.
Yeah.
He talked pretty heavily, like he thought 4 to 5 weeks. Yeah,
It'll be in and
I
out.
think he actually said 4 to 6 weeks. He had each side done.
Community Development Director, Tammy.
Nothing for you tonight.
Okay. Council updates?
I have a question for Rusty.
Yes,
I was
sir.
over at the playground the other day and I noticed there's quite a bit of debris on it. How do we clean that? We vacuum or we leaf blow it? Or how do you get
On which
on
part?
the big blue cushiony?
Robin goes in there with the vacuum. If it's getting debris on it, Robin will take the vacuum to it.
And you said one time, I think there was another bench coming to be added to the
We have
west side.
4, so we had to order, Dick Boone is gonna donate 4 benches for that. I think in as memorials.
Yeah.
And we have the benches, but we have to cut the soft stuff that's on top of the playground. We've got to cut that for spot to bolt them down. And the
We can't
plastic-
set them in the grass to the west of that
No,
pad,
no, not these. These are not made. They're not gonna.
because that would be in the shade. Are they gonna be in the shade as far as get them in the shade?
No, probably not, but he would like them to go around the playground. We need them on the cement. So we've got to put the blue stuff around the legs everywhere. We cut that out to bolt them down. So we're waiting on a bucket of that so that we can.
We have a thermometer out there in the sunshine tomorrow about 2 o'clock in the afternoon and you'll see why I want them in the shade. I've got it. You're not gonna believe the number.
I doubt anybody sets them in the shade anyway, so.
These benches wouldn't work good in the shade on the way the legs are. They'll sink.
All right, is anybody going down there to sit at the park anyway?
Well, the parents and grandparents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just drop them off and work.
Working on more shade structure for next year. They've had good feedback with the shade structures they have in the pool this year. So I've been working on more shade structure.
Don't move, I'll be back.
I thought you delivered.
I did.
That's a long leash.
We deliver to the pool a lot. We own it. Any other council updates?
Yeah, we had another E911 meeting last week and they voted to update the communication system at the dispatch. And, so there was one dissenting vote, so.
Is that more money we have to give them? Or
They say it's not gonna cost us anything.
Okay.
And, that's what they've said. And so, anyway, isn't that right? Zach? That's what they keep saying.
Versus for the sirens that we had to pay for that they can use any funding.
Okay. Any other updates? I just have one question. I just happened to be driving. Did we approve to build Robbie a shop by the cemetery or not? Did we?
No.
When is that gonna happen? I mean,
We have set money aside for after July
okay,
for the shop, but you guys have not actually, we've not brought you plans and said, okay, do we want to build this size? But there's money set aside for this.
is that you and Rusty that have to decide on that?
We've got.
You got some plans?
We've got some comments and some bid.
Oh, yeah, I know. Can you put that on the agenda the next time to talk about it? I just.
Only since it's July.
Yeah, I thought it was after July, but I just been driving by there lately, and thought, was I dreaming? I thought we were gonna build a building. It's still there. That's all I got.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Jake? Don?
Yes.
Earl?
Yes.